everyone, welcome to another episode of Tea Time with Tommy, the pro wrestling podcast with Tommy, NORBZ, and me, Brittany. On this episode, we have a very special guest, the one, the only, Jake the Snake Roberts. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Well, thank you. You're much better looking than the other guy.
Just so before we get started with the actual interview, I love the photo wall that you have in the background. I'm just wondering, what's the big wrestling photo that you have up there?
Oh, that's from the documentary that I did. The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts with Diamond Dallas Page and Scott Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Great documentary.
My road to recovery, you know, and good news is I've been clean now for over 10 years.
Amazing.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
So to start things off, you want to talk about your book that's going to be released soon. So just talk a little bit about why you kind of want to write a book and what will people learn about you in this?
Well, my book's going to be different than any other wrestling book you've ever read because it's going to be the truth. Okay? I'm just going to talk about me. I'm not going to talk about anybody else. Maybe I should talk about them. They talked about me, but I'm not going to. And bottom line, it explains how I got into wrestling from day one all the way. And it talks about the inner workings of wrestling, what happens in the locker rooms, the politicking, the bad jokes, some of the brutality, and some of the funny stuff too. But it's a lot more about what I went through going to the top and then staying there once I got up there. You know, that's the one thing I pride myself on is that, you know, I wrestled for a long time, and after I got to the top, I never went back down. And even when I was in the WWE, Hogan would go on fourth and I'd go on last, which really pissed me off. It's like, well, I'm not being paid to go on last, you know. It didn't seem to bother me at all. So, yeah, it's going to tell you everything that you thought you knew about wrestling and enlighten you on some tough times. Because it's going to talk about some tough times. Painfully tough, not only from a wrestling standpoint, but from a politicking standpoint and from a physical standpoint. Some of the things that you go through, some of the things your body goes through, the grind, how hard it was to stay on the road for 90 days straight. You know, I wrestled Ricky Steamboat 93 days straight. And that's twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. So it's insanity, you know, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're still a few months away because I decided to lengthen the book by about 300 pages. So I got some filling in to do. Because I was going to make it a two-part book, and I decided not to. I'm just going to dump it all out there at once, and once I get it up and out there, then we're going to come back with an audio book, and maybe later on we'll do the porno book. That's just me and my snake. Just in my snake.
Can't wait to get the
Fantastic.
book, Jake. Can't wait. I just wanted to say I have my dad. He doesn't watch pro wrestling, but he says you were his favorite wrestler, one of his favorite wrestlers to watch. So he wants to say that. My dad wants to say that to you, the message that he loved your entertaining skills. It was like he said, it was cutting edge. It was bar none back in the day. So my dad wanted to give you that that message.
Well, I appreciate it. He's a great judge of talent.
I'll tell him that, Jake.
Yeah. Wiser than his years.
Oh man, just amazing promos you had. I have to ask. I know this is gonna be a loaded question, but if you can try to answer. So many great matches you had, legendary matches you had in the past. Do you can you tell us what your most memorable match was ever?
I have no idea. That's up to the fans. You know, for me, I had a lot of matches that I hold dear to my heart because, well, for different reasons. You know, wrestling Andre's one thing, but wrestling Steamboat's another. Wrestling Ronnie Garvin, oh my God, that's an experience. Yeah, to say the least. You know, here's one for you. Ronnie Garvin, I'd be in the ring beating the hell out of him because we like to hit each other hard.
Oh.
Ronnie and I just like that, you know. But I'd be kicking the snot out of Ronnie, and I was the heel at the time, and I'd look down at him, and he's not ready yet, and I'd pound on him some more. I'd look down at him, and he's not ready yet. How did I know when he was ready? What was his tell? Well, Ronnie Garvin had a tell, and his tell was his nipples would get hard. Once his nipples got hard, that meant he was fixing to beat the shit out of me.
Oh.
I swear they perk right up.
Oh, wow.
I seen him about 3 years ago. And I went to him and I said, hey, Ronnie, man, we had some fun, didn't we? And he goes, oh, yeah, we had a lot of fun. I said, well, tell me one thing. He said, what's that? And I said, what's the deal with your nipples getting hard? And he just laughed at me and walked off. That scares the hell out of me. What did that mean? You know? I keep thinking every time I look at a peephole, I'm going to see Ronnie Garvin, and it scares the shit out of me. So, yeah, Ronnie was quite the experience.
Definitely, he was one tough guy, one tough competitor.
Oh yeah, a great competitor, man.
Yeah, one of the best. You have been with AEW since this past year, and like the moment that you made your appearance in AEW, you did a promo with Cody Rhodes, which was unbelievably amazing. It was probably one of the best promos I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, it was very methodical, as you always were with your words, and it really stood out to many people. And I mean, like, and you've been managing the Murder Hawk Lance Archer as well in AEW. A tremendous and fierce and scary individual. I must say, like, one of the most fearsome athletes out there. How's that experience been like for you, being a manager to Lance Archer and being part of the AEW team there?
Well, being part of AEW is probably the greatest treat I've ever had. Tony Khan, the owner, makes it such a pleasurable experience. He treats the guys with respect. He treats us like athletes. He caters to us. He makes it easy to work, you know? And even the worst conditions, he makes it easy. Even when the pandemic was going and we're doing everything in front of no people, he made it easy. And he's such a student of wrestling. He knows more about me than I do. You know, it's really weird. He kind of scares me in a way. I'm like, dude, are you stalking me? You know, but he just knows too damn much about me, man. And his appreciation for wrestling. Working with Lance has been a treat because I just thank God I'm not having to wrestle that big bastard, you know. Because, Lance is a little stiff. And, you know, I don't mind stiffness, but I don't like being ran over. I don't know if you guys seen that match from last week with him and Eddie Kingston. Holy shit. I didn't even want to be the referee in that match.
I did see that, yes.
And they're going some more this week because they're going to come back in a lumberjack match. And I don't expect anything less than somebody getting sewn up, or the docs will be busy in the back trying to get them back together. That's one of the nice things about Tony, too, is he has qualified people in the back to take care of the talent as they come out. You know, it's not sit down and wait, the ambulance will be here in a few minutes type of crap. No, he's got the doctors there, and these are qualified men that know sports medicine. You know, McMahon never did that for us. Are you kidding me? Shit. He just put you on a plane and said, go to the next town.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Talking about earlier when you were saying that how you were just number one and at the top for such a long time. Like, how did it feel to be praised by so many fans and to be number one? Did that have a lot of pressure on you?
It wasn't pressure on me. A lot of people probably don't believe is that I'm very insecure. Very insecure. I was a quiet kid at school. I never came out of my shell. Didn't date much. And then I got into wrestling and became a sex addict, a drunk, and an alcoholic, and a drug addict. I did a complete flip. Going to the ring to me is like making love to my wife. It's like no matter how well I do it, it's still not good enough for her because she's number one, man. That's my love and respect for my woman. Getting into I didn't feel the pressure from the fans. The only time I felt pressure was when I would go out for 2 or 3 days straight and not be in condition to wrestle, physical or mental, you're doing cocaine for 3 days straight or something. And I'd be really mad at myself because I'm like, oh man, I can't wrestle now. I'm just too weak. But when it came time, the bell would ring, I'd jump up and I'd take off to that ring. And instead of doing 20 minutes, I'd do 40 because I wanted to punish myself for being such an asshole, because I didn't ever want to cheat the fans. And the fans are what makes it for us, man. They're the fire. Without the fans, guys all learned a lesson during that pandemic. Wrestling in front of buildings with no fans really sucks because everything that you do in that ring hurts when there's no fans. I mean, the simplest of moves hurt because there's no fans because you're not pulling that adrenaline out of them. You can't get that electricity going. You can't get that spark going because they're not there to cheer you on or to scream. And you just don't ever have that fire you need to go. So I think the guys some lessons there, but fans have always been number one for me because even in my worst days, the fans never gave up on me. They always believed I'd make it back and be damned if I didn't.
Tommy, NORBZ, do you have any more questions for Jake?
I have to ask Jake, one of my all-time favorite moves. I know you've heard this throughout your career, the DDT.
Yeah.
Like my brother would love to do that to me when we were kids on the bed, and my mom would be yelling at both of us.
Short?
Was it? Oh, sorry.
Why you're so short?
Yeah, that's why I'm short. Exactly. That's why I could never make my university basketball team. I was too short. But yeah, I have to ask, like, how did that move, the DDT? How did that come about?
I don't know if you're familiar with a guy called the Grappler, Lynn Denton, a great wrestler. We were wrestling in Mid-South and having some really great matches. We're doing about 40 minutes every night, and really working our tails off. And I used to front face lock him and just wear his ass out with a front face lock, really work him over. And he'd find his way to his feet and he'd try to get out of it. And sometimes he'd push me into the corner really hard. And he'd push me back in there once or twice and I'd let go. And as I let go, he would stagger back. He was in perfect position for that knee lift. And I'd catch him right in the face, man, and just blast him. Well, one night he went to push me into the corner and I had his head hooked. He stepped on my foot and we fell backwards.
Oh.
And I was a baby face at the time, so I didn't really pay attention. But he did. And he didn't get up. He stayed down.
Oh.
And the people were just, oh, what the hell was that? And I'm dancing around the ring like, I didn't fall down like an idiot. And that's how it was born, man. I started working on it after that. by taking my left leg and taking it back and then swinging it through as fast as I can. The only thing that really pisses me off about that maneuver is there's so many guys that use it and they don't even know how to do it. And they don't even have the balls to come ask me how to do it, which really burns my ass. Now, as far as everybody doing it, that doesn't bother me. You know why? Because when they do it and it's a false finish or a 2 count or a 1 count, that's great. Because what you just did was tell all the wrestling fans that Jake Roberts did it a hell of a lot better than you did, buddy.
Absolutely.
So you just made yourself look like a dumbass, like a pussy. Welcome to your world.
Yeah, you do it the best. It's one of the greatest moves in wrestling, and you do it way better than everyone else out there.
Oh yeah.
That's
the way it should be. I guarantee you're going to see it soon in the AEW.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
I might just be out there in that ring doing it to somebody.
Oh, we can't wait to see it.
You never know.
Patented. It's a patented move.
Please do it, please.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I just want to ask a last question. There's so many future aspiring wrestlers out there that wants to be in the business, just as you were. What word of advice would you give to those aspiring talents getting into the business?
The most important thing that you can do pre-getting in is to get your ass in shape. My God. If you want to become a doctor, you have to go to 12 years of school before you ever get to college. Then you got to do 8 years. Well, why don't you look at wrestling like that? Get your ass in shape before you ever start training to wrestle. Be an athlete. The other thing is, the most important thing is, go to accredited school. Don't let Joe Blow down in the corner teach you anything. Because basically he's there to rip you off, take your money, hurt you, and get rid of you and get somebody else in there. Go have someone teach you that's been to the top. I mean, who do you want to learn from? A guy that's never wrestled on the big shows, or somebody that's been a world champion? You want to learn from the best. That's who you should learn from, the best.
Yeah, most definitely. And just curious, who got your ass in shape when you were young and starting out in wrestling?
I just kept running from the girls.
Shy kid running from the girls. That was their exercise.
Yeah.
Love it.
Don't believe that. I was running after the girls. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's so hard to believe you're like one of the coolest wrestlers of all time, and it's hard to believe that you're you were shy. It's just because you're just the coolest guy.
Yeah, well, like I said, can't judge a book by its cover, man. I had a lot going on in my early years, man. A lot of bad stuff had happened to me as a kid, and that it made me draw in and hide. When you're sexually abused as a kid, it changes your life forever. It really does. And that's all I want to say about that. So.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and talking to us.
I appreciate it.
It's been such a pleasure.
Well, thank you, darling. I really thank you guys for having me. And now you can go back to touching whatever you were touching.
I was just scratching my shoulder.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't. You had your hand out like that.
Oh, yeah, most likely.
I seen the cloud behind you, and I don't know what was going on. Hey, guys, please subscribe below and get ready for a lot more segments of Tea Time with Tom.